everybody. Welcome back to Geezerology's Freeform Friday. I'm Scott in South Florida. Today, I'm going to talk about a streaming service that I just discovered a couple of months ago that I thought was really good. And I don't see a whole lot of reviews online about this service. Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, and all the big ones seem to get all the attention and all the reviews. But I found this Epix Now, which is a pretty sweet little. It could be a sort of a supplement to your main streaming service. This thing has a lot of value. It's $6 a month, regular price, and I actually found it for. I paid $15 up front, and then I got the service for 6 months. So basically $3 a month. It's just I had to pay the $15 up front. I did this a couple months ago. I don't remember how I found this deal, but there's a website, there's a web page on Epix's website that is still offering it. I don't know if it's still live or not, but I'll throw the link down in the description of this video so you can go check it out and find out. I don't really know if that's still live or not, and the page is just a legacy page or what. But I do know that Amazon Prime at the moment is offering it as an add-on for their service at $3 a month, which is 50% off for the first 6 months. And I have to tell you, at $3 a month, this thing is there's a lot of value here. Epix, you probably have run across Epix on your cable service, or if you do a live TV streaming service. I think it's on YouTube TV. But there are 4 live streaming channels with the Epix brand: Epix, Epix 2, Epix Hits, and Epix Drive-In. And the streaming service Epix Now, which is an app that's available for Roku, Fire TV, Chromecast with Google TV. I'm sure all the other streaming boxes, you can put it on there. But it has, I assume that the catalog that it has on demand is the stuff that they actually show on their live TV channels. This app is, there's some pretty extensive catalog here of movies that have been around for a while. No original movies are here, but it's stuff like, they'll have more popular titles like the Star Trek series, the Hunger Games series, things like that. I don't know how much of it is exclusive to Epix, but what is exclusive to Epix Now are about, 25 or 30 original series and a few stand-up specials that you can't find anywhere else. They are on Epix. And I have watched a few of these, and what I've seen here, their original series are really good, really entertaining. It's certainly, even without the pretty huge catalog of movies that it has, just the original series makes it very valuable for $6 a month at the full price for a few months anyway. I mean, there's not enough to get you through a year, but like I say, this would be a great supplemental service to whatever your main one is. I'm going to try to share my screen here and show you a little bit of this on the web. Let's see. That is their web interface. Their interface is pretty basic. There's not a whole lot here, but they do catalog their stuff pretty well. I see that those icons aren't loading, but they have the stuff. It's laid out pretty well. It's very easy to find things. But as far as settings or compiling a watch list and your histories tab, it's all pretty rudimentary, and it's not the easiest stuff to use, but it's really fine. It's really easy to find stuff to watch on here. And what I'm going to focus on here are a few of the original series that I have already seen. And I'm going to start with a couple of music documentaries. It's Laurel Canyon. You may have heard Bob and I reference this documentary a couple times on our Geezerology channel. This is a two-part documentary. I think these episodes are each about an hour and 20 minutes long. Let me see if I can find that timing on these things. No. Oh, okay, let's turn that off. But I'm pretty sure that both of these episodes are about an hour and 20 minutes long on Laurel Canyon. This is the story of the area around Los Angeles that was really fertile for musical acts back in the 60s and the 70s. A lot of folk acts and country rock acts, starting with the Mamas and the Papas, Buffalo Springfield, Poco, moving into Crosby, Stills and Nash, as you see there in that little screenshot. Jackson Browne is there. The Eagles. There were essentially like three generations of musicians that came out of Laurel Canyon, and this is pretty much just the history, just a timeline of what happened in Laurel Canyon and who the people are and how they all how they all have relationships with each other and how they started, and just a little. Some of you may not know, Steve Martin came out of here. Steve Martin actually came out of Laurel Canyon as a banjo player with a Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, but he decided to pursue a comedy career at some point and start music. So, but there, this is pretty entertaining. That's a very good documentary. Another music documentary that I've seen that is really good is, we'll get there. Where is it? Punk. Punk is a 4-episode series, about an hour each on these episodes. Pretty much what the title said, what you expect. A lot of talking heads. Iggy is the one of the producers of this, one of the creators of this documentary. So he gets a lot of screen time, especially on the first episode, where they're talking about, he's essentially positing that the origins of punk were pretty much in the lap of that Detroit scene back in the mid '60s. Where the Stooges were pretty prominent, the MC5, and this series just goes through the evolution of punk music, the history of it. You see Debbie Harry there. I don't know who that guy is on episode 3. Some of you may know who that is, but I don't, and I'm not sure who that is either. But I know that John Lydon is in there. Henry Rollins gets some screen time here. And like Laurel Canyon, I mean, you don't really have to be a big fan of punk. I'm not a big fan of the music that came out of Laurel Canyon, but I still enjoyed that documentary. I still enjoyed watching the story of the stuff. And the same way with punk. Even if you're not a fan of this music, it's a really interesting insight into the life cycle of punk and the timeline that it happened. One more documentary series that I want to get to is Helter Skelter, an American Myth. You know what this is. This is 6 episodes, about an hour each. And this is pretty much, this is not just another look at the Manson murders, but this is more a look at the sort of the biographies of the people. It starts out, the first episode is essentially the life story of Charles Manson, at least the story about when he was growing up and how he was getting in trouble with the law when he was a kid. And this series is a pretty good look at at the people who were involved in the stuff, and not necessarily just what happened, but gives you a little bit of insight of who these people were and how this happened and how all this happened. Not not so much what happened, but how it happened. And you see, there's 6 episodes there. And it's really good. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I have watched on this 2 of their original drama series. The most recent one I saw was War of the Worlds. This is a adaptation of the H.G. Wells story. This is a series that I think it was done in Canada, but it's mostly set in London and in France. And I think this is what makes this an Epix original is that, I don't think Epix was involved in the creation of this or anything like that, but Epix, I think, probably funded this thing and is airing it and calling it an Epix original. And this, there's been 2 seasons of this. A 3rd season has been announced for sometime in 2022. So we'll see if that happens. I don't know if the pandemic has delayed that or set this back or whatever. But I binged the first couple of seasons on this. I think each season is 8 episodes long. I think, 8 episodes long each season. I love this show, and I'll probably go ahead and do a full review of the first 2 seasons of this whenever the 3rd season lands. I'll go ahead and get more in depth on this series later. It's a nice little science fiction story. It starts with the opening scene of this series is the attack that happens, that the extraterrestrial attack that happens. So what this series is, it's a post-apocalyptic fallout of the attack. And it follows a few different groups of people and how they're coping and how they're trying to figure out how to survive, and they're trying to figure out exactly what happened and who these creatures or whatever they are who attacked them. They're just trying to figure this all out. It's pretty slow moving story. I know that a lot of reviewers have criticized that it's fairly slow moving, but I think that's what, to me, that's what makes it so good. It's just so intense. To me, I had no trouble sticking with this, and just watching everything unfold. It's like, and you just never know what's going to happen next. And I found myself just really intrigued and just really sucked into this thing because I couldn't wait to see, what reveal was just around the corner. It's not so much an action series as it is a drama series, but I found it fascinating. I loved it. I can't wait for the 3rd season to drop. One more series that I saw on here and loved, another Epix original, was Get Shorty. This was originally an Elmore Leonard novel, and back in the 90s, there was a movie that was adapted from the novel that starred John Travolta, Gene Hackman. This is basically a reworking of the story. It's not the same story, but it just takes the same premise, and the premise being that the lead character is a hitman or a cleaner or whatever you want to call him for this mob in Nevada, and through a series of events, he ends up getting involved in Hollywood and becoming a movie producer. And so the tale here is that you're watching him leading this double life. He's, his day job is a hitman, his night job is moonlights as a movie producer, and it's really good. If you remember the movie back in the mid '90s was it was one of those movies that came out in the wake of Pulp Fiction. It was one of those Tarantino type of movies where it was just really pretty intense. There was some pretty fairly explosive violence there, but it was played a lot for laughs and just really intense drama. And this is along the same lines. This looks exactly like what it might be if somebody made a series from Pulp Fiction or a Tarantino novel. I mean, this comes straight out of that mode of script writing. It's really good. Ray Romano is the second lead in this, and what he is like one of these Hollywood producers that makes like straight to DVD movies, and he gets hooked up with these mob characters and trying to make movies. And it's a very, very entertaining series. It was 3 seasons. I think it's finished. I don't think we're going to get any more of this, but it was 3 seasons of about 8 or 10 episodes each season. 10 episodes each season. And this is a good one. If you're a fan of that old Tarantino style of movie making, this is that put into a series. They really play for laughs. Romano shows some really good acting chops, and some good drama chops and some good comedic chops here. He's very watchable. I'm not familiar with this Chris O'Dowd, but he's a lead character. He's an Irish actor with his heavy Irish brogue, and how he ends up, how this Irish guy ends up as a hitman for this Nevada crime ring. I have no idea. I don't know if they ever really explain that, but it is what it is, and it's very entertaining. But that's just a quick wrap up of the things that I've watched. I've watched a couple of random movies here, but those original series, and you see some of these other ones are on my watch list. I'm going to check them out. If you're into sports documentary, NFL Icons is currently active. This Condor is based on 3 Days of the Condor, I believe. Chapel 8's a period drama. Fiasco is a docuseries on the Iran-Contra scandal, which I have not yet seen. There's Forrest Whitaker in a series, Godfather of Harlem. I think there's been 2 seasons. I think a 3rd season is on its way. It's a crime story. Fall River, I believe, is a true crime series about some satanic cult that did some killings in Massachusetts in 1979. I have not watched that yet, but I plan to. Epix Now has a pretty good track record with me on doing some really quality original material, so I'm definitely going to go through and check a few more of these out. There's Pennyworth, which is a prequel to Batman. Pennyworth, Alfred Pennyworth is the butler, and I think this is the Alfred Pennyworth story. I've got that on my watch list. I'll watch that at some point. If you're looking for something to go along with your Netflix, just some stuff a little new. Like I say, for these original series on here, at least the ones I've seen, and the promise that some of these others show, it's definitely worth $6 a month for this service. If just for a couple months, just to go through some of these original series, which are just fantastic, and you can't find them anywhere else. And there are a lot of movies on here that you might find that you can't find anywhere else. Like I say, I don't know how exclusive these movies are to Epix, but and also this also gives you, I can't find it on the web series, but on the app and on the streaming apps, on the streaming boxes, you also get access to the 4 live channels that I mentioned before. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you about this. This might be a streaming option that you haven't heard much about, and I wanted to throw it out there and let you all know about it. I really like this app, and I think you might too. So, well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next Friday with another edition of Freeform Friday from Geezerology, where we give you some reviews of whatever it is that strikes one of our fancies between Bob, Dan, and I. We'll be back on Sunday with another edition of Geezerology Gazette, and we'll see you Wednesday for our Wednesday Spotlight, where we mostly review albums, a lot of legacy albums. But thanks for listening, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.